Okay, great. No, they just chose to join the stage early. That's fine. It's okay. No, it's all good. It's all good. No worries. You'll be invited properly. It's all good. Hi. Okay. We are exactly, you're in the spotlight already, you see. So, good evening. And I want to thank each and every one of you for coming here this evening. I wish you a pleasant, interesting, and useful evening. If this is your first time, Proseed is a community of people who believe that business can be about more than just profit, and that authenticity is valuable for its own sake. And also moving furniture and stuff around. Great. The truth is that we're all struggling in some way, and we all yearn for a space where we can be ourselves and share our thoughts and feelings in an authentic, meaningful, and safe way with others like us. And Proseed is our tribe, and for 7 years now, we've aimed to be a force for good. We've now held 53 events, welcomed over 4,000 guests, and supported 147 pitches from innovative and amazing people and companies. Along the way, we've donated dozens of computers and thousands of baht to support underprivileged children all over Thailand. Tonight's topic is right on our target: from inequality to opportunity, can business bridge the gap? Here's our agenda this evening. Let me bring back that slide. So at 7:10, we'll begin our panel discussion. At 7:45, more or less, we'll have our entrepreneurs pitches. At 8, we'll have our charity spotlight from Hands Across the Water. At 8:05, we'll wrap up with a reciprocity ring, and then there will be beer and pizza sponsored by Fabit and Vimy and B2B Lead.ai. I want to thank two very nice volunteers that have started helping run Proseed, and that's Mega from Epic Angels and Ken from Logisphere, who also celebrated a birthday this week. So thank you very much, both of you. I think they deserve a big round of applause, which we could, because volunteering is nice. Hi. And since we're talking about time, I'd like to go back in time a little bit, about 2,500 years to be precise, to a poem by Lao Tzu, the Chinese sage who founded Taoism. And Lao Tzu wrote, I have 3 treasures which I guard and keep. The first is compassion, the second is economy, and the third is humility. From compassion comes courage. From economy, the means to be generous. And from humility, responsible leadership. When these are discarded, it is the road to death. So I think on that merry note, I can assume that in a world of widening gaps, this wisdom feels as relevant as ever. And personally, I'm optimistic. I recently read Johan Norberg's book, Progress, which reminds us that in 1990, where many of us were already alive, about 1 in 3 of all of us still lived in extreme poverty. Today, do you want to guess what the number is? So it's been what is it, 35 years? We had 1 in 3 humans living in extreme poverty in 1990. 35 years have passed. How many humans live in extreme poverty now? Less than 1 in 10. So less than 1 in 10 in less than a generation. And I think that's empirical proof of the type of change that we human beings are capable of. And today's panel asks, can we turn growth into justice and innovation into inclusion? So now let's meet our panelists, each of whom brings a unique perspective to this conversation. I'll start with our moderator. Ms. Barbara Maynard has called Bangkok home for a year or 2, but her journey spans banking, technology, and global trade. These days, she's fascinated by how AI is shaking things up and runs a boutique consultancy to make sense of it all. She also sits on a few boards, mostly so she doesn't get too comfortable. Barbara loves asking bold questions and connecting big ideas and occasionally stirring the pot, which makes her the perfect moderator for tonight. So please welcome Barbara Maynard. Dr. Andrew Stotz, please join the panel. Dr. Andrew Stotz, CFA, is a two-time winner of Thailand's #1 Analyst Award and the co-founder of both A. Stotz Investment Research and CoffeeWorks. He created the Profit Bootcamp to help mid-sized family businesses double their profits and has trained thousands through his online valuation masterclass. His podcast, My Worst Investment Ever, ranks in the top 0.05 globally. Based in Thailand since 1992, Dr. Stotz has written 5 books and cares for his 87-year-old mother at their home in Bangkok. Hello, Dr. Stotz. We have with us also Father Edgar Nava Perez. Father Edgar is the Delegate Superior of the Khaverian missionaries in Thailand. He has spent the past 12 years in Asia, 6 of them in the Philippines, where he studied and did pastoral work in the slums of Quezon City. And in 2018, following his ordination, he moved to Thailand and has since lived in Klong Toey. His community, the Khaverian missionaries, include both Thai and international members working at the grassroots level in Klong Toey. Their core mission is caring for the sick and elderly, while also providing spiritual, academic, and personal development opportunities for children and teenagers, including access to scholarships. So please, a warm... Mr. Charles Reed, with over 35 years of experience across Europe and Asia, Charles brings deep expertise in managing complex technology and telecom enterprises. He offers board-level strategic insight and strong grasp of the commercial and technical demands of deploying advanced systems in developing markets. A recognized collaborative leader, he inspires people and builds a high-performing teams. At Royal Greyhound, he leads a large team supporting, can I say which port, or is that a secret? Singapore. 10% of all the stuff that goes through Singapore port is managed and offloaded by Royal Greyhound, Mr. Reed's company. Thank you very much for joining us today. And last but definitely not least, Khun Ponlumon Nirachatsuwan. Khun is the Social Business Innovation Manager at Yunus Thailand, where she helps communities and social enterprises design sustainable business models to tackle financial inequality. Her background spans sustainable agriculture, reproductive health, and international development. With hands-on experience in Uganda and Indonesia, she brings a systems thinking lens to inclusive growth. NET focuses on empowering marginalized communities across Southeast Asia to build resilient and equitable communities. So we begin tonight's conversation. I leave you with this. What if we measure our success not by our profits, but by the lives we've improved? And Barbara, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm very pleased to be here with you all again after many months and to talk about this very important topic of inequality and opportunity and whether business could be the bridge. You know, inequality, we all read about it all the time, but this is in headlines, is in policy papers, in academic treatises and books, and I at least have always felt that it's not very real. What delights me greatly to be here is the fact that we are talking about inequality that affects real people, and we're going to hear insights from real people who have experience dealing with inequality and who are gracious to be with us today to share their experience and their perspectives. And as you know, they come to us with perspectives across a wide spectrum, both from the for-profit side organizations and also non-profit enterprises. The inequality, I will keep it very brief because we are here to really listen to them. But inequality is a complex issue. It's not one issue, it's many layers. And we are focusing today on financial inequality. And of course, it's about wealth, it's about money and about the distribution of wealth. But it's more than that. It's about who has access, not just to the wealth, but also to the services, the support, the tools that are behind it that enable a better life for those who have access to it. So against this background, we have asked them, I think as Mike has alluded, to reflect on 3 questions. And I will just repeat the questions again before I ask them. The first question is, what's something you wish people talk about more when it comes to inequality? The second question is, what's the biggest challenge you see in fighting it? And the third question is, and what are you doing or planning that could make a real difference? So, as again, just to remind the panelists, you have 2 minutes, and we will be quite strict. So, let me start with Charles. Let me ask the first question. What's something you wish people talk about more when it comes to inequality?
Thank you, Barbara. Let me start with describing how I started to think about this. So I started my professional career with PricewaterhouseCoopers. So I was an accountant, very white collar, full of intellectual people. Everybody went to a good school. About 15 years ago, I started a company in Singapore to get involved in port operations and very blue collar. And of the 700 of employees I have, about 40% are actually foreign workers. Most of them from India, some of them from Malaysia, actually 1 or 2 from Thailand as well. And one of the things that I found out as I started this business was the inequality to this group of people. So it's not about expats, you know, having jobs in investment banks and things like that. These are blue collar workers. And one of the things that they had to do was they had to pay agents to get the job. And they used to, and they still call it this, they call it the gold loan. So they get their family gold, they take it to a pawnbroker to get a loan, and then they get the job by paying for that job. And it takes them anywhere up to 3 to 5 years of work before they can pay off that loan. Now, Singapore has about 60% foreign workers. If you take Dubai, it has 92% foreign workers. Now, for a blue-collar worker to go to Dubai, it could take as long as 10 years to pay off that loan. Now, Thailand's different slightly.
Can you?
Are we 2 minutes? So Thailand also have some quite interesting aspects to it as well. And the one piece that I'd like to leave with Thailand, which is different to other countries, is that there's something like 2 million people born in Thailand who are not Thai citizens. They're all up in the hills. So they can't get education, they can't get jobs, and that's a major issue that I see.
So thank you. So that's inequality between locals and immigrants or foreigners. Nat, would you like me to repeat the question, or you got it?
I think I got it. Okay. Yeah. So it's something that
you have 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. So something that I wish people would talk more about when we talk about financial inequality is probably from my work at Yunus Thailand. Not just the financial mechanism or the financial tools that we provide or work with people in lower income communities, but also how we provide those tools. So basically, if we provide them and if we work with them as partners instead of just passive recipients. So for example, at Yunus Thailand, we have a microfinance called the Grameen Bank, where we not only give loans out to women in lower income communities, but we also work with them in building, strengthening capacities and working with them to design social business ideas so that they can be active participants and have long-term financial sustainability and not just be passive recipients of, for example, just one-off financial philanthropy gift, for example. So that's something I wish people would talk more about, designing not just the tools itself, but how we work with people in low income communities, with keeping in mind that we're trying to work with them as humans and empower them to have more dignity and agency. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very deep. Thank you.
Okay. So the first thing I thought about is the first thing that I think we should talk about is that we're not equal. Like there's no one in this room that is equal to another. It's our uniqueness, in fact, that is great. So I had to think first about, that we need to understand that nobody's equal. And we never will be. So that's the first thing. The second thing is free market capitalism. Mike just got up in here and told us how so many people were taken out of poverty. It wasn't through government programs, it was opening up competition. Even when we talk about your case, probably operating under a concession given by a government. So I'm for free market capitalism, less government collusion with companies and others. I'm not saying anything negative about you, but what I would like to see is more competition. And I believe that ultimately, so in my case, I have a business for 30 years. And one of the ladies I was thinking about a lot before this is she worked with us for 28 years. We provided, no matter what happened in our business, no matter whether we lost money or we made money, we provided her with a salary every single month for 30 years. And I think almost no charity or any other way can we produce that type of transfer of cash. And so that's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Father Edgar?
So what is something that I wish people talk about more often? As a missionary working in the slums and having the opportunity to share with you today, I would like to point the need to, not to talk about, but to deeply experience the intensity of inequality that is around us, which we are unable to grasp through any other means. It should shock us and make us change our life and how we see things, how we value things. To put it as an example, an experience, no? We are enjoying pizza and beer later. No. Something simple and inexpensive. We go out with a friend, we spend maybe 500 baht in a dinner, something cheap. But not far from here, maybe 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer, I know a family, a couple of elderly, they managed to go on with 2,000 bahts per month. 2,000 bahts. 600 from each one, because they are elderly, and 800 because the wife is handicapped. They managed this because they own the old house of a relative who passed away and a motorbike. The husband is able to pick up food in the temple daily, and so they are left with the expenses of gasoline, electricity, water, and cell phone loads to contact the granddaughter who is in the center. So inequality in the papers, news, the statistics are too abstract for us in general. It is until you touch the grounds that you realize the magnitude of the problem and also the importance of our personal involvement in tackling it. So for me, it would be like an invitation to touch the problem of inequality and have a first-hand experience of its meaning and implications in the life of the people. So my invitation would be, come and see the reality of inequality.
Thank you. Yes. What I'm hearing also, the theme that runs through all this is the concept of injustice, because inequality is one of the most serious forms of injustice. And I will quote Martin Luther King Jr. here. He said, injustice anywhere means injustice everywhere. So that's our problem. I mean, it's the world's problem. Let me move to the second question, which is, what's the biggest challenge you see in fighting injustice? Let me start this time with Father Edgar, and we work that way.
So what is the biggest challenge in fighting inequality? I think that the biggest challenge is to make fighting inequality and finding opportunities to help people a policy in all our enterprises. Whatever it is, business, religious groups, neighbors, groups of friends, our family, clubs, to make it something that is basic, automatic, or standard in every area of our life. The temptation, I think, is to leave it for our boss or our company or the government to take care of. We run the risk of passing on the solution of the problem to someone else, not to me, not to my family, my friends, my neighbors. After we have an experience of the change we can make in the life of someone with little effort, we have the chance to let other people know that they don't need to do much to bring a change. In a few words, the challenge is to make inequality a personal problem, a problem that I try to solve with very few people have even a hint of the real situation that we are facing. Inequality just in theory. They don't have an idea. Like numbers, statistics, technicalities. Much less they have even heard of real situations of families who struggle. And even less know from a close experience what is inequality like. So knowing it and passing on the problem to someone else will be the worst mistake we can make, because no one will do it. No one. You and I are the only ones who can do something. So I think this is the challenge.
Andrew, same question.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. What is the biggest challenge you see in fighting inequality?
So when I think about that, I think about two groups. You know, I take care of my mother. She's 87 years old. She cannot take care of herself. And so she needs care. And that also applies for a young baby or someone that needs care, or handicap, or others. And those, I think, are very straightforward, that we should be helping in best ways we can. But I think the hardest part is, how do we help in a way that people then are able to help themselves? When I was young, my parents kicked me out. I didn't have any money, and I lived, you know, working in a factory in America, no hope of studying at university. And there was a lady that I met that worked for the department, the employment department in Ohio, and she somehow gave me a $500 grant to go to university, and that's how I started. And that lady, Catherine O'Brien, sparked something in me that then I was able to take. So I think that that, to me, is the hardest challenge, is how do we help people in a way that that's empowering rather than capturing them, you know, with that. So
Thank you.
Yeah, so the biggest challenge that I see in fighting financial inequality is, from my perspective as I work at Yunus Thailand, I think the biggest challenge is that there's already a lot of solutions, community-based solutions, and people, for example, NGOs that work to prevent HIV on the ground, or even networks in Thailand that provide safe abortion services, or even smallholder farmers around Thailand. But they are the ones who know the local solutions. They are the ones who understand the heart of the issue because they live with the people in the community. But usually they are the ones who are not recipients of traditional finance, because they're not seen as people who are investable. The projects are not seen as investable in the long run compared to other more traditional enterprises, for example. So one of the challenge I see is basically there's no structure to provide long-term growth for these already existing community-based solution providers. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
Okay, I'll try this one. So I look at it from a top down and a sort of bottoms up. So the top down for me is public policy. So we do have to have fair laws. And before we can have that, people have to recognize that these are groups of people that need help. So as you say, Andrew, you know, some of it's very obvious. Disabled person, that's kind of easier to look at. So, but when you have groups of workers from a particular nationality, harder to see. So that's like a top-down policy. From a bottom-up perspective, we should be responsible purchasers. So if you're getting your house refurbished or you're getting some work done, you know, we should be responsible in the way we say, well, actually, we don't want to have undocumented workers. we don't want to just have the cheapest price and drive the price down so that the vendors that you're using, the contractors that you're using, the only way they can actually do the project is by having illegal workers. So you have to accept the fact that it's not always about driving down the price to be a fair purchaser. So I think that's something that groups of business people can do, is when they look at, when you're doing your tendering process, if somebody comes in super cheap, well, there could be a reason for that, and you shouldn't take it because it's actually unethical.
Okay, thank you. You know what, again, what I'm hearing is that there are two kinds of inequality. There is the one group is on systemic and structured inequality, and the other side is what Andrew said, is that we are actually not born equal. We're older, younger, weaker, more brilliant, more beautiful, less so. And in this connection, I would just like to say, to me, the biggest BS statement is in the American Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are born equal. No, they're not. And on that note, I will move to the third question. This time, I will go alphabetically. So, Andrew, I'm keeping you, on your toes. And what are you doing or planning that could make a real difference?
Make more profit. Make more profit.
Can you expand that a bit?
So the more profit I can make in my business, the more salary I can give, the more people I can employ, the more bonus I can give. And of course, the more profit I make means I'm delivering value to the market relative to my competitors. And so I've lived, as many people have lived, in loss and in profit. And I can give nothing when I'm in loss. In fact, I just take. I take the labor of my employees, I give them a wage, no bonus, there's nothing I can do. So I lived in profit, I lived in loss, and I know I can contribute more when I can build my business to generate more profit.
Thank you. That's Charles.
So I'll go back to my theme, which is around the foreign workers. So what have I actually done? So the first thing I did was I don't like to deal with agents anymore, right? And the wonderful thing about technology now, there's more transparency. So recruitment, you shouldn't have to go through some shady dude, right? You should be able to find people. If you have a good brand, they'll come to you. So that's what I did that. The second one is actually also in terms of things like trying to have more equality in terms of if you do a good job, you should get paid for that. And it does come from profit. If you do a good job, make a profit, then you get your bonuses. So those are the two main things that I've been working on myself, and I'm quite passionate about that.
Thank you. Father Edgar, what is your project or plan that you think will make the biggest difference?
For me, and I think for my community, which involves the church, our volunteers, NGOs, some private individuals and small businesses that support us, is to accompany the people firsthand from the grassroots and to provide opportunities, especially to young people. We bet a lot in the education of kids, teenagers, but we know that it's not enough because of many factors. Many people cannot perform well academically because of their situation, their background. Some are not willing even to do so, and it's impossible to force them. Few ones who manage to study, for example, they have a hard time finding a good job, or sometimes they are not passionate for it. This is why we try to accompany them, to be with them, see what they need. Maybe it should be can be a scholarship, maybe it can be a job if they don't have one, or it may be a better job if they have already one. Maybe just a little push or a big one. So we try to be close to the people we visit, we know in the slums. The most needed, those are the most needed, and be there ready to help, involving our partners. We know that we are not alone, as much as needed, so that they have someone to lean on, so that they don't feel hopeless in this situation. Being with them, leaving behind our comfort, our countries, our language, privileges, becoming one of them, even poor, even rejected, even needy as them. I think in that way we aim to become bridges anchored in the slums with concrete people. We are not an NGO that brings scholarships, money, distributes things and goes on, but we are always there with the people. So,
Ned, you have the last word in this round.
Yeah, thank you. So some of the things we've been working on. So I think broadly, I can summarize it as we usually work with community-based organizations and NGOs, and we try as best as we can with the opportunities given to us to connect them to governance level changes or systematic changes level. So for example, a project that we've been working on in the past 2-3 years is with the Referral for Safe Abortion Network in Thailand. So we work with them because, as you know, there's limited funding in this topic. It's a pretty sensitive topic in Thailand still. And so we work with them so that they can find ways to generate revenue and become a self-sustaining entity. That's the first part. So we give non-financial support that's relevant for the organization that needs them. And the second part is that because a lot of these community-based organizations are such effective actors, but they don't have long-term financing for them, at Yunus Thailand, we're designing blended financing mechanisms that will unlock private financing for them in the long term, hopefully. So currently we're working on this project with community-based NGOs that are doing HIV prevention work. And we're piloting this financial mechanism that is a returnable grant or is a debt that's tied to performance of the social enterprises. And so this will allow them to carry out and have more financial support to basically maintain their organization and deliver the work that's super important and needed on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So, you know, we've had some very thought-provoking answers and insights from the panelists, and I'm really grateful to hear what you have to say. And I like to bring all of you into the conversation, but before I do, I'd like to maybe throw out a few ideas of my own that you may want to think about. The first is that we're living in one of the most dramatic periods of change. I mean, none of us have ever lived through this, and I have lived a long time, and we will unlikely to live through it again. And there are two things that really matter. One is we are moving from a unipolar to a multipolar world, and that has all kinds of implications on inequality as well. And the second is that it's the introduction of artificial intelligence. What we are hearing is what is happening today, and that's so relevant because it's a lived experience. But we also, things are happening so fast that we got to look ahead and ask ourselves, how will artificial intelligence affect inequality? Will it improve it, or will it make it worse? Will it worsen it? So in this connection, let's look forward to 2030. And I would like to give you two quotes, two recent quotes, which you can think about. The first is from Bill Gates, who thinks that AI is developing so quickly that we will soon be working a 2-day week, and we will all be, well, all, he means the 8 billion people, be better off. The second is from Elon Musk, and this was a speech he gave in the Middle East tour when he was with Trump. And basically, he was saying along the same thing, along the same line, but he said the world will be so prosperous that we will be talking about a universal high income, not merely a universal basic income. You may say he's talking rubbish, you know, but I mean, but this is the guy who's saying we should all go and colonize Mars. So that's something that's worth thinking about. And so having thrown these two spaces of thinking, these two perspectives, I'd like you to join the conversation, both in what's happening today and in what might be happening in the future. So you have 1 minute to ask the question, and the panel members will also have 1 minute to answer the question. Yes?
So, Andrew, you are an advocate for commercial, and yet you trace the origins of your escape, right, to a grant, a $500 grant that gave you the opportunity to be educated. How do you reconcile the disparity?
The grant came from free market capitalism. When companies make profit, they pay taxes. When people make salaries, they pay taxes. And society decides a certain portion of that will be given for services. If all of our businesses made losses and we didn't get much salaries, government's not going to have much to spend, or people aren't going to have money in their pocket to give, you know, to what the church is doing and what other people are doing. So that's how I would say it. But yeah. He said what?
Warren Buffett saying that he paid less tax than his secretary. So he made huge one.
So if you're asking me, I think the tax system is a disaster. So I think that
I think we can all agree with that.
right now we have a thing of minimum 15% tax. I think we should shift to maximum 15% tax worldwide. And then there's many problems. There's problems, you know, for me as an American, if I try to do my own taxes, I can't. It's too difficult now. So the complexity is there for a reason. People are making money from it all around. So it's a complex topic, but anyways.
Okay, that was a deep question. Yes?
I'm confused with your profit. You know, in order to make profit contribute, you must be a good person. Because I know a lot of businesses make a lot of profit. You said that they want to make a lot of profit. Back of people, they don't pay cheap products which are not even sustainable. And we, the consumers, we are demanding as cheap as possible for us, right? And we contribute as a consumer to what you are saying. So profit can only be for good people who believe in what we are talking about, contributing to society. And I was wondering, to put it as a question, do you have something where you have contributed? Because I know Mohammed Yunus did something, right? He contributed to the women with this
Burmese Bank. Burmese Bank.
Yeah. So supporting women with microloans, right? So he had something, and something came out of it. This is where I see making a focus on inequality a long time ago, right? But he was saying the right thing. You need to do something, and the consumer needs to do something. So, yeah, judge as well. My question is, what did you do, any one of you, what did you actively do to contribute? Yeah, in general. But in general, making profit is for me very general.
So I did start a microbank in Sri Lanka. So I had this view. I only lend money to women because they actually will pay it back. I'm quite serious. So we started up 30 businesses in Sri Lanka. It was only for women. And, you know, we got our money back. We got some interest on that, and that was fine. So I think, you know, you can't, there's two things. We talk about we are born unequal. Certain people are smarter than others, they're taller than others, they're more athletic, or whatever it is. And we have different needs. Some people need a certain quality of life. Some people are happy with certain qualities of life as well. So I think it's not pure capitalism. I think it's not the drive is just saying, I just got to make profit, right? I think profit does grease the wheel, so to speak, and can do, and then you can then contribute to the wrinkles that exist in the world. Because there's always going to be wrinkles. There's going to be always people who drop out of the system, who are unregistered or undocumented, and you just have to be sort of conscious about it. And the reason why I volunteered to talk tonight was I wanted to sort of talk about a group of people that a lot of people don't even think about. You know, there's 2 million people born in Thailand. Their parents were born in Thailand. Their grandparents were born in Thailand, and they don't have Thai citizenship. You know, there's something like 2 million registered blue-collar workers in Thailand. I bet there's about 6 million unregistered workers in Thailand. I don't know the number. Nobody knows because it's gray. And whilst it's always gray, you're never going to be able to tackle it, right? And I think that's kind of the discussion, and why I wanted to sort of talk tonight was about there's a big group of people here.
This is a very real among us, yes. It's a real issue, and it's a structured inequality, which could be addressed by public policy. I think that's the point Andrew made earlier. Yes.
Economic opportunity. In many cases, not all, but in many cases, there's economic opportunity.
Yeah. Anything from this side? On, yes.
I think we haven't talked about accessibility to education, to quality education. This is a key to overcome inequality in the world. And if we see the problems in the Western world, here we need a public services who can guarantee that every child gets a quality education, and that we focus also on lifelong learning. This is very essential. And this is the state who has to do it, not paying tuition, giving free access to education, because refugee kids or kids who are coming from very poor families, they can't finance quality education delivered mostly by private schools and private universities. So I think this is the key, and this is not the focus, unfortunately, in our society. Where do we save money? Mostly is in culture and education. And these are, to my mind, this is the key to overcome inequality and to give the opportunity to everybody to make a career in his life and to make profits in the end. And I thank you for diabolizing the word profit, because it had such a negative impact. For sure, we need laws. We cannot be in a Manchester liberalism anymore. So we have a social security. And then it's to discuss how high should it be, how much do we give in responsibility to the individual. Thank you.
Yes. You want Mike?
I agree with you about the education, that yes, we need to, but the problem is today you don't need to go to university. You have internet. You can find any information that you want. You can get it on the internet if you just have something minimal like small computer and internet line. The problem is that the mindset of the people, that a lot of influence around the world created, you born poor, you stay born. Money is bad for you. It's not good. It's only for the bad people. It's all this kind of mindset that you give to the people to born that I see that in my business, and I don't get long time I don't want to talk about it too much, but you see that people, you give them an opportunity and they don't want it. Leave me. I'm happy. Give me the rice, salt. I'm happy with it. I don't want to be more in debt. I give you the opportunity. You can make more money. No, thank you. So it's the mindset problem, or in another way, make money, and instead of to use it, buy a Versace and spend the money. Say, hey, save it, make interest, combining effect. They don't try to learn about this.
Basic education.
Yes, agree. This, I'm with you. I'm with you.
One is more ambitious, less ambitious. One is looking for the best price, the other doesn't care at all. And in the end of the month, the person is paying.
But this go back that people are not equal. They're not born equal in the head. They're not ambition. What you can do to the somebody you don't want. You cannot force fish to climb on a tree.
Thailand go to the SEC and talk about the problem there, and it's basic. Before they're getting rich, right? So Thailand as a society didn't get rich like Japan. So now they're older, and there's a serious problem. And I said, they're looking at America and saying, you need to do like America. And I said, Thailand has the #1 proven retirement method in the world, and it's called family. And if you think that you're going to develop a system of everybody pooling money together to then take care of all the elderly, it's hard. I think it's got a situation that people who have been born on the land and have their land, they can exist with no ambition. Fine. There is a place in Thailand, and it's amazing. And so I think that's one of the things I really admire. Thailand, we saw it during COVID. Families could go, people could go home. That's the security. And one of the things that Thailand's done too about small size land is that's a valuable thing. Right? If you go into commercial farming and everything, it's efficiency, but people lose their security. So those are some things.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there anybody who wants to ask a question to the panelists before we wrap this thing up?
yeah. I really appreciate the conversation and the questions that come up. So I mentioned the year 2030 with AI, and I leave the thought with you. Now, I'd like to pick up another point about mindset, because that's a critical factor that can transform a problem into an opportunity, and to believe that there is a possibility. And so I like to leave you with a story. And this story is not a forward story, but backward story by maybe 2,500 years. And it's not from Lao Tzu, but from the old Bible. And it's the story of David and Goliath. The two tribes, the two countries were at war, the Israelites and the Philistines. And the Philistines put up their champion, which is Goliath, who is a giant of a man. And they offer a one combat to win the war, just fighting Goliath. And all the soldiers looked at him and said, oh my God, look at his size. I can't fight him. Then came a young shepherd boy, skinny shepherd boy, called David, who looked at Goliath and said, oh great, with that size, I can't miss. So he took on the role of a one-on-one combat, took out his sling, took out his stone, he took aim, he hit Goliath, who fell down and got killed. The war was won, and David became a legend that we hear about today. So I'll leave you with that story and whatever you make of it, and I hand it back to Mike.
Thank you very much, Barbara, and our panelists. This was very, very, very illuminating, and I think we now move on. So I hand over to you, Mega. It's your part of the show.
first thing I make it, but nobody picks it.
Okay, while you're finding the clicker, I'm going to get started. Good evening. Thanks, Mike. We're going to change gears now. From inequality, we are going to move to sustainability. A bit of context before I do that. You know, when I first came to this floor, the Proseed floor, and I saw the pitching happening, I was terrified. But that was a few years ago. But I was also hooked. I knew that I was going to be back on this floor one day. So last year, I found myself pitching on this stage. Maybe some of you saw me last October. I was pitching for an idea called Epic Angels. It's the largest global collective of women investors in the world. Any Epic Angels in the room? I see one. Hello. That was last October. So it doesn't come as a surprise to me that I'm back on this floor, but this time behind the scenes as the host of the pitch night at Proseed. Hi, I'm Megha. I'm a communications coach. I'm an angel investor with Epic Angels. And tonight, I'm your host for the pitch night. We have 3 exciting pitches lined up. That's the format. Proseed has space for 3 startup pitches and 1 charity pitch. And tonight, we have a full house. The rules of the game are simple. Each of our presenters has only 5 slides, maximum of 5 slides, and 3 minutes. You've seen that we are strict about timing. I love that. And we have our infamous chicken, which squeaks at 3 minutes. Who is managing the chicken? Nina, would you help me? Thank you. All right. That's how it sounds. Okay. All right. So coming up first, let's get this started. Coming up first, we have a company that is on a very humble mission, which is to bring space to Earth. So let's hear from Kato from RIFI. Let's give it up for Kato.
I love that.
Then we just, let's see. Okay, then
Okay, it's in a row.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Kato. I'm from RIFI, and we're developing AI technology to detecting environmental change in Earth observation. So that is us developing from accuracy stage lesson ready for the future innovation. So our solution is relatively very, very simple. We are a satellite company, and we're working on the AI technology that particularly focusing on that. So we are AI-powered satellite solution. We are using weather forecast. We're using GS layer, satellite imaging, and of course, AI model to developing a really precise solution to addressing a very specific industry challenge. We provide solution from API, report, dashboard, platform, and right now we're addressing the challenge from the industry from supply chain and agriculture. We work with match surveillance, land risk and management, and also with national security and disaster as well. So that's some of the area that we have done before in the past. So everything we do here is our proprietary technology. We're developing everything here in-house. We're using 20 satellites in our network. We're using over 800 parameters in terms of satellite image training on the AI model on the multi and hyperspectral imaging. And we'll be able to maintain a very high accuracy on the overfit image classification. So this is our platform demo. You can scan it. So get a more understanding about what we do as well, that if you're interested in this kind of technology. This is our journey. So we actually literally started as a flood-based AI model. And as we do more research and model training, we actually found a purpose that literally we have a really high versatile capacity as well. And our ultimate end goal is we want to engage in satellite constellation. I'm really open to discussing a lot of stuff with you guys here today as well, from technical collaboration, potential development, even like POC project as well. And we have been backed by the US side, like Global Innovation Science Technology and US State Department, Math Challenge, and in the UK side, like Panacrist Star, that support science in entrepreneur like us, and Google for Startup as well. And Southeast Asia, like Venture Spark and National Innovation Agency, including the Digital Department as well. So yes, I think that's this is the pitch evaluation for my audience, or for the audience. Okay, it's not for me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We have 2 minutes now for any questions that you have for Kato and RIFI.
Just probably like very flexible. I mean, I'm very open. So maybe I could get a job from you guys or something like that. We solving a lot of problem and we providing like a top 3. Okay, for my top 3, maybe for me is first thing is POC. I want to looking for to work in a new region because like most of our cases come from Southeast Asia. And if there's some applicability that we can do a case outside Southeast Asia, that's something I'm looking for. Second thing is maybe potential of working in a new industry agnostic because right now we getting deeper and get more vertical in the industry. I want to experiment in more industry beside the one that I already work on. And lastly, probably like on the technical collaboration, I think like there's a lot of like long-term expat here that working on really like sophisticated project as well. And if there's something I could, you know, share or exchange and maybe learn from them as well, that's probably something I'm looking for.
Yes, we had another question.
Yes, Nina.
I know now you're what is expect to other industries.
Other industries. Oh, okay. I love the top 3 question here. So maybe in area of environments, I think like we work a lot of environmental based projects. Actually, like there's gonna be from detecting like a methane emission from open landfill to working with biochar company, CCUS removal carbon to focusing on that. So I mean, very, very flexible. Logistics is one of that because I think like there's one logistic company that approaches us as well to developing the way to tracking a Chinese vessel because right now they don't have a way to do that. Logistics is probably one of that. Maybe military application as well. If you guys have a military contact with that, that's also another thing. And maybe the last industry that I'm probably looking forward to is probably on the government tech side, but more on like outside Southeast Asia. That's probably something I'm looking forward to.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the QR that we can scan to give some quick feedback to Kato and Rifai on their pitch. And while you're doing that, we have our second pitch coming up, which is a venture that is determined to find air pollution without penalizing those who don't have the means to act better. So let's welcome Pasini from Enable Earth.
Hello. Well, can you hear me well? We're Enable Earth. We develop industrial biochar carbon removal in Southeast Asia. So the first problem that we want to solve is the PM 2.5 pollution that is caused by open agricultural burning. And well, I mean, you're in Thailand, you know that Chiang Mai, the northern part of Thailand, was among one of the top 10 major cities in the world with the worst air quality. And well, PM 2.5 is one of the main causes of lung cancers and associated death as well. So northern part of Thailand alone, on average, there's about 2,500 new lung cancer cases per year, or 7 new cases per day. And that leads to 5 associated deaths per day. And one of the causes of this is open agricultural burning, which normally takes place in fields or lands where big machinery cannot access, and therefore burning in field is the fastest and cheapest way to clear the land. So our solution, we want to convert these wastes into biochar and generate high quality carbon removal credits. So we are using continuous pyrolysis technologies together with real-time monitoring, reporting, and traceability software. And a little bit about biochar in case it's new here. So it's a carbon structure that you can put down into soil and that will lock the carbon down permanently. And it also has a quality of large surface area that can absorb nutrients and water. So it can be a good soil amendment for, replacement as well. So for us, revenue model, 1 to 2 years, we will rely on mainly on carbon removal credits, but in the meantime, we will develop biochar enhanced compost. And then in the long term, we want to commercialize biochar's other value-added properties. For example, wastewater filtration, insulation, and activated carbon, or even SAF sustainable aviation fuel. So biochar is not a new concept in Southeast Asia, but our positioning is different. We want to make it a high quality, scalable, replicable business model that can be expanded across Southeast Asia. So myself, I used to work in a venture capital in Europe, focusing on climate tech startups. And that's when I found out about this business model in developed countries. And that's when I saw the opportunity of bringing this business model back to our region to tackle the agricultural waste and pollution problem. So today we're just looking for people who feel aligned with this value and want to join us, becoming our partners, mentors, advisors. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 2 minutes for questions.
Yep.
Is crop burning legal or illegal?
It's illegal now. It's illegal officially, but then the governments don't really have ways to solve that. So
Just if I was to invest, and let's say the government at some point was forced by the citizens to enforce that, lose all my money?
on me,
The government
yeah.
business still exist, or it wouldn't exist unless the government doesn't enforce the law.
Well, so now the government enforces the law already to stop burning, but people still burn because they don't have solutions. We're offering the solutions for them to get rid of the agricultural waste.
What's the cost of distributing, moving how does the cost of energy related to moving
The logistics.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, our facility, we're looking for the right location for the facility. So we found the location that is surrounded by a lot of corn residuals, like the cornfields. So we're trying to situate it in the area where it's within 50 kilometers, like around the cornfield. So within the district that we're working on now, there are about like 50,000 rai of cornfields. Yeah, and a lot of them are on steep terrains, so they don't really have other options but burning them. So we're trying to get those residuals down and convert them to biochar and yeah, solve the agricultural burning problem.
Give them something, some incentive, profit.
Well,
How do you do this? What is your business model?
Yep.
To you to make money, then to come to you to sell.
Well, yep. Yes. Yes. So now we actually pay around 50 baht per rai for us to go in and take care of their residuals because they have to burn them anyway. So for now, it doesn't have value for them. With the 50 baht per rai, it's better than not getting nothing. And yeah. So I will get from selling the biochar. So I will get from getting all the residuals and then convert them to biochar and sell biochar and also carbon removal credits under the global standard. Yeah, so revenue will be from biochar and the carbon removal credits. Yep. Yes. Yeah, I convert them. How much profit? Well, yep.
You make something and you sell it. What will be the profit?
Well, so operating margin normally is 70% because it's only feedstock.
Yeah, thank you, Pasini. And I think there's an offline chat that I'm seeing, smelling. Thank you. So that's the QR for Enable Earth. And our final pitch for the night is actually an invitation. It's an invitation to visit some place that I bet most of us haven't been. So let's hear it from Sasha Heyman.
Thank you very much. I need that. I don't need that.
Okay, you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
No, thank you.
It won't get.
Like that. Oh, it doesn't go in there? Yeah. Sure. Please don't take that from my time.
All right, that works? Yes. Okay, that works. Wonderful. I'm, for some reason, still at Riff AI, though. Is that? No. Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm picking just up where Khun Si left. So we all agree we love the burning season, yes? Okay, perfect. We all agree we like dirty water, yes? Okay, perfect. So I'll fix that. How I fix that? I take the biochar from Khun Si. We yesterday had a wonderful conversation, and I take mining waste. Rock piles, we have 500 billion tons of that worldwide. Lots of it is toxic and dangerous. We take that, this is our plant in the US, we'll turn that into what we call bio-rock. So it's basically biochar on steroids. We take that, we sell it to the farmers, and we basically fix the mining pollution problem, we fix the agri-waste problem, and we fix the problem of declining yields through synthetic fertilizer, because our stuff is completely non-toxic, raises yields 25% and more. We've got very successful projects in the US. So what I'm asking you for, if you know anyone in specifically mining in Thailand, but also worldwide. I'm discussing this right now in 4 different countries across the world. That's the kind of connections I'm looking for. And if you want to see how a mine, so this is what we do, right? So we've got the mine waste, we've got the agricultural waste, we put it in here, and we increase the yield with our biochar. And if you want to see how a mine operates, I'd like to invite you to scan that QR code over here, because I'm organizing a trip to Chatri mine. That's in Pichit. That's about a day trip away, 4 hours one way. If you are interested in this, please join, scan the QR code. If you want to connect on LinkedIn, please join that QR code over there to find out what else I do, apart from fixing environmental problems. And that's it. Thank you very much.
We have 2 minutes for questions. A question.
So how do you take the toxic out of the mining waste?
We reprocess it, and through the reprocessing, we render whatever was hazardous in there. That's the simplified version.
And then what sort of chemicals are left that are good for fertilizing?
Well, it's basically whatever is left in that rock powder, right? So what we do typically is we take, let's say, for example, gold mine waste, yeah? We reprocess it, brush it down, take the minerals out, and then you've got the rock waste. That rock waste is super high in all kinds of beneficial minerals, good for the plants. I can give you a breakdown if you are interested. Then we'll take the biochar, mix that together, and if needed, if the soil where we're going to sell it, if the soil needs more nutrients, we can also enrich that. And yeah, then basically we've got that biochar.
Super interesting. Thank you.
Question, yes?
One more question.
Yes, Charles. Please.
So this is a successful model in other parts of the world?
Yeah, we've got this up and running in the States.
In California, is it?
Yes.
Right, okay. So then you just bring in that. So you've tested the processes and you're selling it. Yeah.
Hello.
Right. So you need miners. You need lots of dirty miners.
Yes.
Right.
The thing is that the miners. No, it's
No, that's what you're buying. You're buying the waste, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, because we solve a huge problem for them.
Right.
Because they have all of these files and they need to get rid of it.
Right.
Normally, it's a governmental requirement to fix, but they don't have a good way to fix it. There's very little value in it. The value that is in there, the residual minerals, for example, in gold, not economical usually to get out. So
We solve a whole lot of children. Do other countries ship it to Thailand as well this way?
Thank you. Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you very much.
Right. That's the pitch evaluation feedback. Any quick comments for Sasha? Thank you. That is the for-profit section of our pitch floor. And we also have space for one charity. And tonight we are lucky because we have Vic, who's here to talk about our a charity which is very close to Proseed, which is Hands Across Water. So let's welcome Vic.
Thank you. Wow, it's good to see you all again. Proseed has generously supported Hands Across the Water. Hands is a registered Thai charity that provides, thank you. Provides homes and shelter, medicine, food for over 350 disadvantaged children across Thailand. They operate 7 homes scattered across the country and have been doing that for now 20 years. This year is the 20th year. In the theme of this evening, they not only just give the kids love and care and a home and food and clothes, they also educate them. They're all in school, and the kids, they support over 50 kids in university and a number of kids in secondary school as well. The cool thing about Hands is that when you donate your money, it goes to the kids. They've set it up in such a way that the administration, the executive staff, the board, and everybody, they either donate their time or they're paid out of a for-profit section of the group. So Hands, we support here at Proseed by your donations for when you drink beer. The beer is free, but we ask that you put a donation in the bucket when you take a beer. So, and the request is 100 baht per beer, 100 baht, but there's nothing that says that you can't put more in. So I want to thank you all for your generous support and thank you.
Do we have a question for Vic?
I'm sorry?
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Vic. All right. So that's the end of our pitching, almost. Before I hand this mic to Mike, I'm going to use that again. I have a small pitch to make. So tonight's pitch theme has been sustainability. It wasn't orchestrated, but it was meant to be. So it feels fitting to bring up something about this community, which quite frankly, I think is unsustainable. That this event runs month on month, year after year, on the generosity of one person, he who shall not be named, but who always dresses in black. So I think surely we can all pay for a slice of pizza and a bottle of beer. In that theme, I want to pitch to this community the introduction of a very small ticket, 200 baht. We want to make it sustainable, but we also want to keep it accessible. So a special exception for those who identify as job seekers or as students when they RSVP. But for the rest of us, I hope we can rally up and make Proseed a little bit more sustainable, if not equal. So I would like to take a show of hands if we think we are okay with this ticket of 200 baht for every meeting that we show up for going forward. A show of hands if we are okay with that. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Successful pitch. So finally, if you want to use this amazing platform, and I really think this is an amazing platform to pitch a passion project, your for-profit venture, a charitable cause that you are supporting with your time and effort, we are all ears. Use the meeting RSVP link and submit your interest to pitch, and I'll be in touch. And what's more, As a communications coach, I'm happy to offer you a free 30-minute dry run to help you nail that pitch. With that, that's all from me, and it's back to the man in black.
Thank you for embarrassing me. It's been a while. I want to highlight on the table behind you, there are three, I don't know what they're called because I don't use Macs, but those very fancy looking machines over there, those are all donations which are made by people who have donated them to Proseed. And we have a guy called Nassim who's formatted all those machines, installed Ubuntu on them, or I think Linux Mint. You can play around with them. All those machines are, all the machines on the table are going with Vic up to the kids at Hands Across the Water. And to the comment that Mr. Roy was making about, you know, if you can connect a child to the internet, then you can give him an education. That is why I choose this as our primary way of giving back, because I believe in that very strongly, that if you can connect a kid to the internet, then you have given them the world. And so what I'm asking is, if you have old laptops or old computers, just as long as they work, as long as you turn them on and the machine works, we will do everything to make sure that that machine is repurposed and given over to children who can make something with them. That's it, reciprocity ring. So this is a very simple idea. Yes, Pete.
You are always welcome to know the work we are doing. As I mentioned before, it's firsthand that you really get inspired to help people. So we live here not 10 minutes in motorbike without traffic. Well, you can visit our community, see what we are doing, and find a specific way to get involved. Maybe through companies, yourself, or your community. You can visit us, and then we can talk the details.
Thank you, Pete. And on this merry note, we will go to the reciprocity ring, which is basically this. Very simply put, there are about, let's say, 40 people in the room right now. Reciprocity ring takes into account that everybody in this room might know somebody who can be helpful to someone else. It's a very simple round. You say, hi, my name is Mike. I am looking for your old computers that they're no longer using in order to donate them to Hands Across the Water. And maybe somebody will say, oh, I will reach out to Mike later on and find a way to donate a computer. So the format is really simple. You say, hi, my name is, and I am looking for. You do it within the realm of 15 to 20 seconds, and we do this for the next maybe 3 minutes, and that's it. Does anybody have an ask from the room? No asks today? Yes, Nui.
Good evening. I like a show of hands who support animal welfare, animal rescue. No one. Yay! Hey, Pete, I want to talk to you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Yes, so with Epic Angels, we're organizing open house on June 5th. So if any potential female angel investors would like to join, see how we work, you're very welcome to come find me after this.
Great. Event for Epic Angels on June 5th, lady investors. Yes, any more asks? Yes.
Hi, I'm Fawzia. I'm looking for a job opportunity. I moved into Bangkok from Bangladesh, and I have worked in multinational companies, NGOs, and I also have a startup of my own in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fawzia. Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Paulina, and I'm looking for people who are interested in building the sustainability community in Bangkok and looking for feedback on how we could strengthen that.
Yes, one more person.
Hi, I'm Roberto, and I'm looking for donors of air purifiers to communities in the north of Thailand, especially the ones that were mentioned that lives in the hill tribes that don't have access to clean air. Air purifiers.
Yeah. Any last minute? Yes, Sigrid.
Can I talk about my table?
Sorry? Yes, you can talk about your table. As long as you... Hi, my name is Sigrid.
Hi, my name is Sigrid, and I'm putting a table together for a charity for Myanmar on June 6th. I posted it on the group, and please have a look again. It's not cheap, but we are not doing enough for the people in Myanmar because we keep on forgetting them.
Gone. Thank you very much. I will run upstairs, get the donation box. Kirk, can you do the honors and stand next to the donation box and just make sure that people put 100 baht? Yeah? Thank you so much. For a beer. Before I leave you, we always do a vote. Our next event is on July 17th. There's 2 potential topics, right? You choose which one we're talking about next. The first topic is net zero or net noise, corporate climate action in Asia, in ASEAN, how to differentiate real net zero progress from greenwashing. The second one is the AI divide, ethics, opportunity, and inequality. Will AI widen or bridge the socio-economic gap in Southeast Asia? So if you're in favor of topic 1 for our next event, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, maybe 8. If you're in favor of topic 2, raise your hand. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Next one's AI. Thank you very much, everyone. This is how you stay connected. We just today crossed the 400 people mark on our Friends of Proseed WhatsApp group. This is the big QR. Follow this, and please enjoy the rest of the evening. Great.
Okay, thank you.